There's a moment you still think about. Maybe it's something you said to a friend years ago. Maybe it's a relationship that ended, and some small part of you still believes it was something you did. Maybe it's your parents' divorce, or a fight you didn't start, or a mistake that wasn't even yours. And here's the strange part. You know logically, it wasn't your fault. Someone probably even told you that, and yet the guilt never fully left.
Today, we're going to figure out why your brain does this to you. And by the end, you're going to understand something about yourself that might genuinely change how you carry that.
Here's the first thing almost nobody realizes. Guilt isn't actually a response to what happened. It's a response to a feeling of responsibility, and your brain assigns responsibility based on control, not facts. If you were in the room when something bad happened, even if you had zero power to stop it, your brain quietly files it as, I was there, so some part of this belongs to me. This is called hindsight responsibility bias. Your mind looks backward and assumes that because you can now imagine a different outcome, you must have had the ability to create it at the time. You didn't, but your brain doesn't care about that distinction. It only cares about proximity. This is why children of divorce so often feel responsible for their parents splitting up. This is why people who survive accidents feel guilty for surviving. This is why you can replay an argument from 5 years ago and still wince. Not because you did something wrong, but because you were present for something painful, and your mind fused the two. Here's the part that sounds backwards, but changes everything. Guilt, weirdly, is more comfortable than helplessness. If something painful happened and it was your fault, that means you could have prevented it, which means next time you're in control. But if something painful happened and it was nobody's fault, or just bad luck, or someone else's choice entirely, that means the world is unpredictable and you have no control over the things that hurt you. And for most people, that second option feels worse than blaming themselves. So your brain makes a quiet trade. It takes on guilt you don't deserve, because false guilt feels safer than real helplessness. You'd rather believe I could have stopped it than accept some things happen and I have no power over them at all. This is why guilt often shows up strongest in situations where you actually had the least control. A parent's illness, a partner's decision to leave, a friend's choice to shut you out. The less control you actually had, the more your mind tries to manufacture some. You've probably had someone tell you it wasn't your fault and felt nothing shift. That's because guilt doesn't live in the part of your brain that processes logic. It lives in the same emotional memory system that processes fear and threat. Being told a fact doesn't reach it, the same way being told there's nothing under the bed doesn't fully calm a kid who's already scared. What actually changes guilt isn't information. It's re-experiencing the memory with a different role in it. This is why people who work through guilt in therapy often don't just get told they're innocent. They're asked to walk through the memory again, slowly, and notice in detail what they actually had control over in that exact moment. Not in general, in that specific 5 minutes. Most people, when they do this honestly, realize they had far less power than the guilt implied, but they have to feel that, not just hear it. There's one more layer to this, and it's the one most people miss entirely. Sometimes the guilt you feel isn't even about the event. It's inherited. If you grew up around a parent who was anxious, self-blaming, or constantly apologizing for things outside their control, you likely absorbed that pattern as a template for how to process pain. You learned without ever being taught directly that the response to something going wrong is to look inward first. So when something painful happens in your adult life, you're not just reacting to the event. You're running an old script, one you picked up before you were even old enough to question it. Recognizing that script is often the first real crack in the guilt. Not, this wasn't my fault, but this reaction isn't even mine to begin with. So if there's something you still carry, some moment you were near, some ending you didn't choose, some pain you didn't cause, but still somehow apologize for, here's what's actually true. Your brain didn't assign you that guilt because you deserved it. It assigned it to you because guilt felt more bearable than admitting you had no control at all. That doesn't make the guilt true, and things that are explainable can finally be put down. If this made you think of something specific, let me know in the comments. I read all of them. And if you want to understand more about how your mind builds these patterns without you noticing, subscribe and watch next video.